This stage is by far the hardest stage to chain in the first loop. If you want to use an optimal scoring route, it requires very precise execution. In this tutorial, I will present the route I use. It is far from being perfect, but quite easier to learn. Ideally, you should start the stage with one hyper in stock and almost a full hyper gauge. But if you decided to finish the stage 3 boss with an hyper, it's alright. If you watched my previous video about stage 3, you will notice that I end the stage 3 in hyper mode and with around 60% of hyper gauge. The thing is that I changed my route a little bit in stage 3, but didn't really make modification to my stage 4 route according to that. So, I will present you my original route for stage 4, and then I will present you the small modifications I made to adapt. Because, at this point in the run, it's not rare that I made small mistakes earlier, messing a little bit my hyper management. I like to weaken a little bit the power-up ship, then go to the left side of the screen. When the flying enemies come, I start streaming to the right, slowly to dodge the bullets that are aimed. After killing the first 2 waves, stop shooting, unfocus, use a small amount of shot fire to kill the first enemies coming from the right. Then, I stop shooting, position myself a little bit more on the left. When the enemies appear in the top left corner, I activate my hyper and go up using my shot, killing the enemies from both sides this way. If your hyper was already activated, you just need to go up when you see the enemies on the left. When I reach the top of the screen, I use my laser and slowly stream to the right. This way, I can dodge the aimed bullet, but let the enemies come close enough to kill them with my aura. When I reach the top right corner, I slowly stream down. After this wave, I go back in the top right corner and wait for the doors to open. I kill the first turret in the top right just before disconnecting my laser with the door. Then, I slowly stream diagonally to the bottom left. Be careful when you are in the middle of the screen, because you want your laser to kill the turret, then unlock the bee behind. But if you move too fast to the left, you won't unlock the bee. Then, wait a little bit. Just before the bullets and the enemies reach you, start going up, still holding your laser. Then, I like to go on top of the turret and kill 1 or 2 tanks above and go back under the turret, slightly moving down to dodge aimed bullets. When the turret explodes, I unfocus and jump toward the turret on the right and use my laser on it. As soon as it explodes, I unfocus, unlock the bee in the middle and immediately go back to the right side and use my laser to connect with the turret. Just before the bullets reach me, I go down, but not too fast, or you will have to go to the left before the turret explodes, which is bad. When the turret explodes, slide to the left, still holding your laser, then go through this circular wave of blue bullets. These circular waves of blue bullets look scary when you start playing the game, and it is possible to change this section without going through any of them. But, with experience, you will notice that they are entirely dependent of your movements. So you can do it exactly the same way every time and always take the same gaps. Then I follow these bullets diagonally, then go back to the left side while going up. When I see the blue needles, I go down slowly. As soon as the turret explodes, I jump at the bottom center to grab the bee and unlock the bee in the middle of the screen, then jump to the right side of the screen and go through this circular wave of blue bullets by positioning myself on that spot. Stay there until the turret explodes. Then go in the middle, grab the bee at the bottom and unlock that bee with your laser and slide on the turret to the right. If that bee is already unlocked, try to connect your laser as quickly as possible to the turret. When the wave of flying enemies appears from the top right, wait for your laser to catch one enemy, then unfocus and kill the wave, then use your laser on the tower again. When the tower explodes, slide to the left, go through this circular wave of blue bullets and stay on the left. Wait for the turret to explode, then one wave of flying enemies should directly go into your laser. Slightly tap to the right to dodge the blue needles. Once you killed this wave, slide to the right and hug the right side of the screen. Then slide to the left, grabbing the bee at the bottom of the screen in the same movements. Ideally, you should make an hyper drop just before getting that bee. As you can see, in this situation, the hyper drops after grabbing the bee. Because, as I explained earlier, this was my former route, which works if you start the stage with almost a full hyper gauge. But now, if I didn't make a mistake and follow the route I presented in the previous stage, You should start the stage with an hyper activated and 60% of an hyper gauge. So now, when I'm in this specific configuration, I do the beginning of the stage exactly the same way. The difference is that I don't need to activate an hyper. Then, when my hyper hand, I grab the hyper medal that dropped from the top of the screen. Then, right after grabbing that B, I activate my hyper. And then I follow the same route I presented earlier, but this time in hyper mode. When you reach the left side of the screen, go up as the door starts to open. Just before my laser disconnects from the door, I do a small diagonal movement to prevent some bullets from appearing. As soon as I kill a popcorn enemy, I stop shooting, then do a tap on the auto shot button. Then another tap, just before my chaining gauge runs out. Then I use my laser on the power-up ship in the middle of the screen. After it explodes, I do 3 short taps on the auto-fire button, then 1 longer tap. I stop shooting for a short moment while going to the left side of the screen and repeat. 3 small taps and a long one. Then go back to the right, following the path the bullets create. Then I do again 3 small taps and then hold the auto-fire button while going back to the left side of the screen. Usually, you can grab that B without filling your hyper gauge. Then I wait as much as I can before my chin gauge goes all the way down and activate my hyper. But if you have too much hyper, you can activate your hyper as late as you can and grab the B after activating your hyper. The thing is that you want to have an hyper gauge almost full before activating that hyper. Then I do a tap on the auto-fire button to catch some tanks on the tank carrier on the left side of the screen. Then I do another tap to kill the remaining tanks on the tank carrier. Then I use my laser to kill the carrier and slide to the right to catch the 2 big blue ships. These tanks carrier are quite strange. You can't damage them with your shot until you kill all the tanks on top of them. But it's possible to destroy them quickly with your laser if you aim at the right spot. Then I stop shooting and wait for this big blue ship to appear. I kill it with my laser, stop shooting, and wait for the next blue ship to appear and kill it with my laser. Then I unfocus, hug the left side of the screen, and kill all the tanks on the tank carrier that appear on the left. Then I finish the carrier with my laser following it to the right. I immediately unfocus and kill the 3 big ships on the right. After that, I slowly tap to the left. This way, I don't kill the enemies too fast. When the big blue ship completely on the left explodes, I go down to kill the first small tanks on the tank carrier at the bottom. Then I kill the remaining tanks with small shot tap to save time. Then I finish the carrier with my shot and hug the right side of the screen to catch the tanks from the tank carrier coming from the right side of the screen. When I kill all the tanks, I finish the carrier with my laser and slide to the left to catch the big blue ship coming from the top left of the screen. I hold my laser and slide a little bit on the right, then left to catch the next 2 big ships that appear. Then I slide to the right side of the screen. This way, I can kill all the tanks on the carrier coming from the right and finish the carrier, still holding my laser. As soon as the carrier explodes, I unfocus, I kill the 3 big ships on the right with my shot, but not too fast. That's why I position myself diagonally with the 2 big ships. This way, only half of my shot fire is hitting the ships. Then I circle around this carrier, keeping a continuous movement, and finish the carrier with my laser. As soon as the carrier explodes, I unfocus, grab the hyper medal, and kill the 2 big ships in the middle. Then I unlock and grab that B. As soon as I got the B, I activate my hyper. Grabbing this B after making my hyper drop is quite important. For quite some time, I used this as a flexible way to make the hyper drop and keep the chain at this point. But by doing so, I won't get an hyper during the raygun section. That's why I made some modification with my hyper management at the beginning of the stage. I kill the enemies on the right and go down. I stay unfocused and catch the tanks on the tank carrier coming from the left. Then I finish the tank carrier with my laser and slide on these big ships on the right. I try to kill them one by one, to get as much time as possible. Then I slide with my laser on the tank carrier to reach the left side of the screen and to speed kill it. When it explodes, I unfocus and go in the bottom left corner and start streaming to the right as slowly as possible. When these last 2 blue ships appear on the screen, I should be positioned in a way that allows me to kill them both with my shots. As soon as they explode, I use my laser on the door and circle around the tank carrier coming from the bottom left. Sometimes I stream a little bit too fast and can kill the blue ship on the left. When this happens, I make a bigger circle to avoid the bullets, it fire and destroy it with my aura. When the door starts opening, you should be able to catch some tanks with your aura. Then I unfocus and kill the ones that are left and finish the tank carrier with my laser. When it explodes, my laser should connect with the left side of the blue ship behind. As soon as the blue ship explodes, I position myself on the right side of these needles. I circle around the second wave of red bullets after killing the ship on the left. This way, I kill the ship in the middle and position myself on the left of the blue ship on the left. Then I go at the bottom of the screen and always go between these needles. When this ship explodes, I go to the right and position myself on the left of these needles. This section may seem scary, but it's almost static. As soon as this ship explodes, I unfocus and kill the Zakos on the right, then I go to the left, through the gap I create by moving to the right. Then I slowly stream back to the right. As soon as I finish killing this wave of flying enemies firing the blue needles, I focus and go to the right side of the screen. I wait until the second train of flying enemies appear, and as soon as I see my chaining gauge being filled to the middle, I unfocus, kill the train by going towards the left and hug the left side of the screen using my laser. Then I wait for the next train of flying enemies and do the same to go back to the right. Then I wait for the next train of flying enemies and stream slowly to the left, using my shot to kill all of them. I keep using my shot to kill the small group of tanks on the left. Don't go at the bottom of the screen, because you want to kill these tanks coming from the bottom alive for the most part. Then, when the next wave of flying enemies comes, I circle around by going in the middle, then go up when they start going around me. When I kill the last flying enemies with my shot, I stop shooting. Just before my chain gauge goes down, I use my laser, wait for my chain gauge to stop moving, then slide to the left. Then I slowly go down. When the left part of the cannon explodes, I should catch the first of the 5 tanks I left alive with my laser. I stay there until there is only 1 tank left alive. I stop shooting. Just before my chain gauge goes down, I kill it with my shot, then I stop shooting again. When the cannon starts dropping shells, I use my laser. As you probably noticed, the goal is to gain as much time as possible to delay the destruction of this cannon. If you destroy the main part after destroying the 2 parts on each side, an extra life will appear in the middle of the screen. When you are under the main part, the idea is to misdirect a wave of blue bullets on one side, then catch some shells so you don't damage the main part too fast. Then, after 3 waves, you activate your hyper just before the blue bullets reach you. Stop shooting until you can destroy the shells without hitting the main body, and go to the right and do some laser taps. By this, I mean that you hold your laser, but as soon as you see your chaining gauge going up, you release the button and press it again just before the chain gauge goes down. This way, you're gaining as much time as possible without breaking the chain. Then, when the right part explodes, stop shooting, and just before your chain gauge goes down, start doing a laser tap on the main part of the cannon. Then when it explodes, use your laser at the top of the screen. This link is quite hard to do at the beginning. Almost every time you will kill the cannon too fast. At the very least, try to get the extra life. The main problem is that the cannon drops 2 shells each wave in random direction. Ideally, you can catch 3 or 4 shells before activating your hyper. This is why you need to be very active in order to catch the shells. Sometimes you will get very nice RNG and catch 5 or 6 shells. When this happens, I kill the main part at the end without using laser tap, because I would kill the main part too late and the cannon can shoot shells right into my face if I wait too much. Then I slide with my laser to the right and wait for the door to open. Go to the bottom right corner as soon as the door starts to open. Then this is the beginning of the ray gun section. Hold your laser against the door, wait for the door to open. When your laser connects with the Zakos, slide to the middle to get the extra life, then go up slightly on the right. This way, your laser is hitting the power-up ship, but you should be able to leave 3 Zakos alive when the power-up ship explodes. Then, I kill 2 Zakos with my shot, stop shooting, and kill the last one with my shot and stop shooting. Now come the ray guns. There are 8 of them. They spawn randomly on the horizontal axis and can start moving right or left. But once they start moving, you can predict their movements. The wave of popcorn enemies are completely predictable. At the beginning, chaining this section is quite hard, but the idea is to manage the popcorn enemies in a way that allows you to chain regardless of the random aspect of the ray guns. Just before my chain gauge goes completely down, I use my laser on the first ray gun and follow it. If I delayed the killing of the 3 Zakos before the first ray gun correctly, I should be able to see the position of the second ray gun just before the first one explodes, and immediately connect my laser to it when the first ray gun explodes. If you want to gain even more time, you can use some quick laser tap on the first ray gun to delay its destruction. When the second ray gun explodes, I unfocus and immediately go to the right to catch the popcorn enemies coming from the right. If I am too much on the left side of the screen, I kill the Zakos coming from the left more carefully with some burst of shot. I tried to kill this wave of Zakos with 3 different bursts of shot. This way, I will be able to see the position of the third ray gun before using my last burst of shot, and use my laser on the ray gun as soon as I kill the remaining Zakos. Then, when the third ray gun explodes, I unfocus and stay around the middle of the screen to kill the next 2 waves of Zakos. The first wave fires blue needles and the second fires small red bullets. As soon as I finish killing the second wave, I use my laser on the fourth ray gun. When it explodes, I unfocus and kill the waves of Zakos firing the blue needles. Then I activate my hyper. I don't mind getting trapped by the blue needles there because the hyper activation will make them disappear. Then chaining becomes quite easier. You can more or less use your laser to kill the ray gun as soon as you see them and unfocus right after they explode. You just need to be careful not to kill the Zakos too fast, especially between the 6th and the 7th ray gun, because the gap between them is quite large. After killing the last ray gun, kill the wave of Zakos firing the red bullets with your shot, then kill the Zakos firing the blue needles with several bursts of shot while going to the left. When the wave of Zakos coming from the top left of the screen goes into your shot fire, start going back to the right. When you reach the right side of the big cannon, use your laser to unlock the B and slide to the left, holding your laser. This way, the big cannon should explode exactly when you reach its left side, and your laser should unlock the B on the left at the same time. Then, go back in the middle, go to the top of the screen, and wait for your hyper to end. Then, I keep holding my laser and go towards the B on the right, with a diagonal movement. Then, I slowly slide to the left to stream the bullets and grab the B. Then, I go up on the door, wait for the bomb ship to fire its small red bullets for the second time. Then, I slide on it, unlock the 2 Bs behind, and go up to grab them in the chain. The fact that there are 4 Bs at the end of the stage, and that you can easily choose to grab the first 2 in or outside hyper mode, is really nice for your hyper management. The idea is to end with 1 hyper in stock and at least 60% of hyper gauge. But you don't want to make a second hyper drop. I often mess up my chaining and hyper management during this stage, but it's quite easy to get back on tracks just before the boss. When I'm in front of the boss, I really want to have 1 hyper in stock and almost a full hyper gauge, or at least 60 to 70% of an hyper gauge. In order to do that, I need to be very careful about my hyper management. Maybe I was not very clear with my explanation, so I'm gonna try to make a summary about my hyper management for this stage alone. Usually, I should start the stage with 1 hyper already activated and 60% of an hyper gauge. If I'm in this configuration, I will use my hyper for the first section of the stage after grabbing that B, as I explained earlier. Then, depending on my hyper gauge at this point, I will grab or not this B before or after activating the hyper, because I want almost a full hyper gauge there, just before activating my hyper. Then, if I did that right, when my hyper ends there, I should be able to grab that B after making an hyper drop, and this way I should get an hyper during the ray gun section right in time. If I start the stage with 1 hyper in stock or 1 hyper already activated, and then almost a full hyper gauge or almost an empty hyper gauge, I will do the beginning of the stage as I presented at the beginning. So I won't activate an hyper on the beginning section. Then, If I made a mistakes earlier during the stage and I don't make an hyper drop before grabbing that B, but grabbing that B make an hyper drop, I will grab that B to make an hyper drop, activate my hyper as soon as I can, but the problem is that during the ray gun section, I won't make an hyper drop, so I will be forced to change the second part of the ray gun section without an hyper, which is really hard, but still possible. And if you made too many mistakes and you die during the ray gun or the stage, you can always catch up with the 4 last B and adjust your hyper management thanks to that. Ideally, if you really want to optimize stage 4, what you should do is to chain this section with the tank carrier without an hyper, then use 4 to 5 hypers during the section before the mid-boss, where there are a lot of popcorn enemies. But chaining the platform section is really technical and difficult, and I still have a lot to learn, so I'm not gonna try to present it. This boss fight is quite fun, but it's probably the most stressful one, because for scoring purpose, it's really important. The first pattern can be done in many different ways. Some people like to be really aggressive and stay really high on the screen. This prevents you from getting trapped, but requires to read the bullets really early and fast. I personally like to stay at the bottom left, as I got used to the behavior of the bullets there. This requires to be quite precise with your movements. Here is a little tip. It is possible to go between the first and the second bullet of the fans, or between the fourth and the fifth, quite easily. Then I start the second pattern on the left. I follow the circular waves of blue bullets to the right and focus on the lines of red bullets the boss fire. After 3 waves of red lines, the lane of blue bullets tell you to go back to the left. Be careful, sometimes when you turn back, it can get a little bit messy if the bullets from the previous wave didn't go outside of the screen yet. Then I point blank the boss on the left. The third pattern is one of the most dangerous things in the first loop. There are different ways to do it. You can either try to stabilize the pattern as much as you can and only move when necessary, staying in the bottom left corner. But sometimes the crisscross pattern decides to cross right in your face, making your life considerably harder. The other way is to be really active, so you can stay away from the crossing point as much as you can and only need to go through 1 wave each time. The fourth pattern is just simple streaming. Remember to start on one side of the screen and don't stream too fast or you will get trapped. The idea is to reach the other side of the screen at the end of the first wave so you can turn back for the second wave. Then the boss should explode and switch to its second phase. Just be careful to stay at the bottom or on the side when the boss comes down. If you die during the first phase of this boss fight, it is more interesting to start the stage 5 with at least 4 hyper in stock than only 1. So it's a good idea to use your remaining bombs to make an hyper drop, if you have at least 1 full hyper gauge. This way you can get back an hyper for the second phase of this boss, and fill at least 4 full hyper gauge for the next stage. Then I stay under the left part of the boss, trying to align with the gap between the blue bullets, and get most of my focus on the red lines. The behavior of the blue lines is quite strange, but you get used to it. Just try not to move too much horizontally to maintain the stability of the pattern. Then, when the side parts retract, I stop shooting and watch the configuration of the rotors that come out. There are 2 configurations. They can be spaced out evenly or in tight group of 3 rotors. You want them to be in tight groups. This way you can get more hits and you fill your hyper gauge faster. If they are spaced evenly, I don't shoot, position myself inside the circle and check the boss health. I want it to be exactly there, so sometimes I do some burst of shots to adjust his health. Then I position myself there and wait for the rotors to break their formation and follow the lanes of needles to one side or the other depending on the sense of rotation. Then I have to go through this pattern unfocused because I don't want to damage the boss. Then I wait to see if I have the right configuration of rotors. When I get the right configuration, I activate my hyper and hug the group of 3 rotors with my aura and position myself so I can hit 3 of them with my aura and 3 of them with my laser. Then, just before they start moving again, I go back in the middle and go down so I can hit all 9 of them for a small instance. Then I stay at the bottom of the screen and wait for the boss to explode. Then I go to the right side of the screen so I can point blank the 3 rotors that comes out and follow them. There are many ways to do this pattern. The main idea is to point blank the group of 3 rotors and to use the hyper cancel to reposition yourself when you are running out of space. Here are some tips. The red bullets are aimed at you. Try to change direction at the right time or you will get surprised. Going through the needles can be done consistently as they are almost static. And there you go. You should destroy the boss just after your hyper runs out, or with less than 1 second of hyper left. This way, the 5 hypers will drop right at the beginning of the next stage. One good thing to know about the second phase of the boss is that it's possible to fill 4 full hypergauge without the right configuration. So if you don't want to take the risk to wait for the right configuration of rotors, this is an option. It's especially useful because there is a bug causing the boss to abruptly die before his life completely runs out if you wait more than 5 cycles, which means that you will kill the boss way before your hyper ends. So if you are unlucky and get 5 bad configurations in a row, you should activate your hyper on the 5th cycle and still get at least 4 full hypergauge. Now I'm going to show you my stage 4 route without any interruption. And this is it for stage 4. In my next video, I will be talking about stage 5. À la prochaine!